How do you balance at this point having the respect for the officiating with also the respect for the players and making sure that they feel heard?
Yeah, I'm so sympathetic to both players who feel that an official missed a call, and sometimes they do, and I'm incredibly sympathetic to officials who have some of the hardest job in sports and are under a microscope and occasionally, of course, do miss calls, and we acknowledge when they do.
And the league is also dealing with a new crop of officials. A lot of the baby boomer officials are getting out of the game, and it's looking like the new generation of officials may be more introverted, more triggered by the back and forth with players. So there's a lot of dynamics coming their way. The game definitely has more eyeballs on it. There's more pressure, and you add on gambling as a cherry on top to it all. These guys are under a heavy microscope. And also the consistency. It's to the point now where coaches in their press conferences are outing the refs. The players have always had a history of doing it during their post-game pressers, but the fact that the coaches and just veteran coaches are doing it to the refs, this is almost getting out of hand because it's almost too many fines to keep track of, and it's too many instances of just games being botched. You look at the way the Knicks and the Houston Rockets game ended, that was a bad look for the league. And some of these refs might be feeling the pressure of those 2-minute reports. Maybe there might be too much transparency with the refs, and the transparency should be more internal between the refs and the league.
I think what makes me most frustrated are precisely the issues you're referring to, the communication issues sort of between players and officials. I feel that's an area we should be able to do a better job, both ways. And I put that on the category, as you said, of respect for the game. I'm really encouraged to have Andre Iguodala as a partner to talk about these issues because he's not just a former player, 19 years at the league, multiple championships. He understands the pressure, he understands the issue. And I think there's a real willingness on behalf of the officials as well to do better. So I think this is a real area of focus for us that we're going to be working on. And I think it's easy to say respect for the game. I think people recognize that how players, how the communication works, it's not a typical workplace. It's, we have to take into account the high stress they're under, but it's something that all of us, even if we're not basketball experts, are in a position to judge when we see that dynamic of, and particularly now when so many cameras, so much high fidelity audio, we're able to pick up a lot of what's being said. There just has to be a two-way sense of respect, and I'm sympathetic to the frustration and feel it's an area where we can make progress.
And you could tell some of the pressure is definitely getting to these referees because we're at a point where we're seeing them toss out star players at a rate that we've never seen before. But all these incidents that are taking place with the refs at a time where the league is getting into bed with all these gambling companies, these mishaps are not a good look right now. And it's definitely something the league is going to have to get correct, and they're going to have more parity and more consistency with some of these rules.